Hello guys, I am back from another video, and today we're talking about deku was a animatronic. So I'm just gonna keep this brief. The explanation about last episode, it was pretty simple. Izuku, after defeating All Might and also going to the training camp, well, the League of Villains attacked. And Izuku's now locked in combat with a villain by the name of Muscular. Was actually pretty short. Anyway, before we actually start this episode, I want some more feedback on this post. Because I'm still thinking of some what if ideas, but I'm still not yet ready to make a what if about, Belle Cornell. Or was it Cornell? I can't remember. But, I'm still planning on making a Damanchi what if, but if you want me to do it, I'll gladly do it. Just comment down below on this what if, and I'll gladly do it. Okay? Good. So, let's begin the video. And so, let's talk about what happens next. So, Izuku starts charging in at Muscular as Izuku stabs into his, skin, or should I say his, muscle fibers, as he says this. Seriously, kid? You really think that you can actually destroy me just because you have a sharp axe? I'm literally made out of muscle fibers. I can just easily regrow. As Izuku just says this. Well, I already know that. That is why I'm doing this. As Izuku grabs onto one of his eyes and rips it out with his, hooked one. This one. What this hand that's made out of like several hooks. As he says this, "My eye! You little brat! I can't see anything! You made me blind on purpose, you little brat!" As he doesn't have an eye anymore, so he starts feeling around to try and kill him. As Izuku tells Koda to start going into the, back to the training camp. As he hears Izuku's voice, as he says this, "Gotcha!" As Izuku just sidesteps him and, puts his leg up as he falls down into the cliff. Wait for a second. Sorry about that. As he falls down into the cliff, and actually, nobody knows about his whereabouts after that. After Izuku defeats, you know, him with just an easy, just one move. By the way, he just, just sidesteps him, and he just let his momentum do the rest. So, after Izuku defeats Muscular, Izuku starts moving on and sees the rest of his classmates in trouble, including Class 1B. So, Izuku starts going down to the, to the ground and sees the rest of his classmates fighting against the rest of the League of Villains. Izuku stopped, what's his name? The lizard guy, I think his name was like Spinner, the guy that's basically like a fan of like Stain, but except he's like part lizard. Yeah, that guy. Ezekiel just scares him away. After seeing his like animatronic like body, he basically runs away. As the rest of the students see Ezekiel, they say thank you. For the rest of the other students, they start running away as they were attacked by several other villains, like for example, Toga, which, by the way, when Toga saw Izuku, let's just say she was weirded out. Seeing Izuku's body being an animatronic, she was completely upset because, she can't get blood from him. But when she saw that Izuku was a little boy, she wanted to kill Izuku. Not really kill, more like, take away his blood because he thinks he's kind of cute. But unfortunately, she can't because Izuku's technically a ghost, so Izuku just, phases through, Toga's attacks. And Izuku just grabs her and just used the blunt end of his, axe. This one, the bottom handle over here. As he just bonks her right in the head, just like, bonk, and just, knocks her out. So, after Froppy and Ochako were saved by Izuku started going off to see if Bakugo's okay. Izuku also remembers that during his time with his class, Izuku realized that it was his old friend Bakugo. But Izuku doesn't want to tell him that because, all of the bullying he did. So, yeah, Izuku saw Bakugo getting captured by some villains as Izuku grabs him. But when he tried to grab Bakugo, Mr. Compress puts him into a situation where he can't get out. He puts him in a marble. Izuku throws his axe at Mr. Compress and actually stabs his face with the axe, killing him instantly. The rest of the villains saw this as they started running away, as Izuku crushed the marble as Bakugo comes out, including Tokuyami, and finally Todoroki arrives, seeing that Bakugo's is okay. So, after that whole thing, they started going back to the training camp. After that whole situation, they started telling everybody, the students, to start going home because I think it's better for everybody to start going home now. So, after Aizawa brings Izuku back home, Aizawa tells Izuku about what happened. Izuku tells Aizawa about what happened as he says this. So the League of Villains attacked. Ugh. Very well. Maybe we should start a final assault on the League of Villains, and then we can, take down this so-called Springtrap cult once and for all. As Izuku just says this. Yeah, we should. And so, it's finally the next day of what happened it's basically after what happened during the training camp. Wait for a second. This is after the, training camp. So, as everybody was brought to the auditorium, they were told that they're gonna be doing their first hero mission. And that mission is to defeat the League of Villains once and for all. Everybody was shocked after hearing this. But some of Class 1B are excited to try and defeat the League of Villains by themselves, and ask for the help of Class 1A. Which is weird because Monoma actually told everybody about this. Everybody agrees, so they asked Class 1A to help them. Class 1A is super glad to do this, including Izuku, because the faster he does this, the easier he can get his revenge on William Afton for killing him. Even though even though Izuku has a good personality and has no hatred for heroes and other adults, Izuku still wants revenge on William Afton for what he did to him. Wait for a second. So, after that little interaction, one of the teachers arrives, being Aizawa. Aizawa tells everybody that in a week they're going to be starting the mission. So it's better for everybody to start training and get ready because this is going to be a mission of a lifetime. So, everybody started training as hard as they can. But for Izuku, he starts training on mostly his axe and his animatronic body, upgrading it. Mostly the endoskeleton. Actually, it's just mostly the endoskeleton. But the actual, suit being looking like this, yeah, he doesn't fix this. He just says, nah, we can just keep it as that. So, after that, it's finally time for the final battle between the League of Villains and the heroes. So, they were riding on Osprey helicopters. I think that's the name of that type of helicopter. It's those helicopters that resemble like a plane, but with like helicopter or at least like propellers on the side of like their um wings. I'll show you a picture. So, while they're riding on this Osprey helicopter or plane, I actually don't know what to call it. Let's just call it like a Osprey plane. They were brought to the island where the League of Villains are. They safely landed at a pretty remote place so they can, sneak attack them. So, they started arriving there as the rest of the heroes tell the younger heroes, the heroes in training, to at least, be quiet because this is going to be a stealth mission. So, everybody started moving out. Izuku summoning out his friends, being these things, to help him out and scout around the island. So, one of them being, wait for a second. Hatsumi says this. What do you think, Izuku? Do you think of my upgrades as amazing? As Izuku just says this. Yeah, thanks to my ability to see through these things and of your technology, it basically means that your creation is basically the best. As one of them being, wait for a sec. Momo says this. Yeah, and it's thanks to me that I created the medals. I meant the medal. As Izuku just says this. Oh yeah, thank you. So, as the friends start looking around the island, it turns out the villains have a base in the middle of the island, and in the middle is a gigantic castle. This castle is basically made out of metal and seems to have several different types of Nomu and villains surrounding the place, guarding it. As Izuku just says this. It seems there's many villains, Nomus, and I think I see All For One there. As All Might says this. Wait, do you see All For One? As Izuku just says this. Yeah, his face is disfigured. Wait. He doesn't have eyes. Or even a nose. As he says this, so All For One is still alive. As Izuku just says this. He seems to be talking about something. I don't know. I can't really speak lips, so as he says this. So, what do you think he's saying? As Izuku just says this. Do you really think that I know how, do you know I can't, read lips or something? Like, I can't hear through, I can't, hear through these, friends of mine. I can only see through them, so, as one of them being, Aizawa says this. Everybody be quiet, there's villains patrolling. So, everybody settles down as they started hiding in the shadows. As they see a villain and a Nomu. As the villain starts talking to the Nomu. So, you're a Nomu, right? As the thing doesn't talk. As he says this. Oh yeah, you don't talk. This is gonna be boring. I want to do something. I don't even want to become a villain. As Izuku just jumps down and knocks out the, villain. And for the Nomu, Izuku stabs onto his brain with his axe and killing it. So, Izuku tells everybody to start moving out, as everybody starts moving to a different area. So, they made it to the little base of the League of Villains. But, when they saw the League of Villains hideout, and Izuku getting all of his friends into his little, pocket. By the way, Izuku only gotten, 3. These 3 are currently in his bag right now. And inside of his body. So, when they get there, they see that the League of Villains are currently under attack. When they saw, out of the bushes, and when Izuku looks over the tree, Izuku sees the cult of Springtrap, as they see a gigantic robotic trash rabbit, as Izuku thinks that's William Afton in his new body, as Aizawa just says this. Wait, what did you say? As Izuku just says this. The blueprints say that they're going to be bringing back William Afton from the grave. And I saw one of the body parts of that machine. As One of them being Vanny or at least riding on top of the gigantic trash rabbit. William Afton says this. Now, William Afton, our great and powerful leader, what do you think of these sacrifices? As William Afton laughs, as he starts crushing all of these villains and Numus, as All for One starts charging towards the gigantic trash rabbit. The trash rabbit gets his arm destroyed, but it starts reforming. The bodies of the Nomus and the bodies of the villains and some scraps of his original arm started putting back together again. Like it starts like regrowing like venom, using some of the flesh of the villains and the Nomus as a brand new arm. As he punches All for One. All for One jumps back a little bit as he says this. How? That thing is not a Nomu. And what is that? She must be the leader. As he starts getting ready, making a blast of air, shooting it at Vanny. Vanny jumps off the or at least like gets blown off the shoulder of William Afton, aka that trash rabbit. She starts falling to her death as she says this. It doesn't matter. After all, my purpose is to die for William Afton. And my mission's already complete anyway. As she dies from a large height. Everybody's seeing this. All for One is struggling against the William Afton robot. As the William Afton robot's chest starts opening up, revealing a TV. As they see, or at least like All for One sees, William Afton in a digital type state, saying, "So you must be the brand new leader of the League of Villains. It's nice to meet you. The name's William Afton, otherwise known as the Purple Man. But you can just call me Spring Bonnie. Oh, how the king has fallen." As one of the fingers of William Afton's brand new body crushes his arm, ripping it off of his body. Tomura Shigaraki starts charging towards the robot and starts decaying it. But it just regrows. As he says, it's too fast. It's regrowing too fast. As one of them being, the villain, what's his name? Konagiri teleports Shigaraki somewhere else. Because he doesn't want him to get hurt. And so, they teleported. As for the rest of these villains, well, the rest of the villains were killed. But the ones in the, in the training camp were captured and brought to Tartarus, or a pretty high-ranking prison, similar to Tartarus. So, as William Afton says this, so your disciple has forgotten you, and decided to abandon you. Oh, how pathetic. Even though I prefer to kill, kids, you're perfect as well. As he crushes All for One with his hand. His quirk doesn't work at all. All of his quirks that specializes in regeneration and health doesn't work. Thanks to William Afton's special abilities after transporting himself into this body. It's called quirk cancellation. It basically means that anybody that tries to use a quirk on him is basically useless. So, when All for One was crushed by him, he says this, "Now my followers, kill for me. Kill yourselves for me. Give me more of your strength." As they grab their knives and start slitting their throats, as their bodies flop down to the ground, as their bodies start, crawling towards not all for one. I meant William Afton, as they start going onto his body, making him stronger and making him taller and bigger. As he says this, yes, more, more. I've been waiting for so long. I've been waiting to finally become a god, to become immortal. Wait for a second. For finally becoming immortal. It's been my dream, and now it's finally coming to life. As he looks over and says this, there's no use hiding, you heroes. As the heroes and the rest of the, students arrive, as they step out of the shadows, as All Might says this, you, William Afton, the man known as the Purple Man, you disgust me. You killed all of those innocent children, including Izuku Midoriya. As he says this, oh yeah, that kid. The kid who was my downfall. Anyway, after finally being reformed, I felt a bit bored. So all of you heroes, including you, number one hero, All Might, will be interesting to fight. Now, come at me. As the heroes start getting ready, but Ezekiel tells all of them to get off because it's his fight. Ezekiel wants revenge. As one of them, being Bakuto, said this, "What? Why are you doing this, you damn nerd? Just let us fight. Or at least fight with us," as Ezekiel just says this. It's my fight. After all, he did kill me. As everybody was shocked after hearing this. As for the people that already know, they weren't shocked, as they allow Ezekiel to fight him. 1-on-1. Mano a mano. Man to man. Or should I say, monster animatronic versus kaiju animatronic. So, Ezekiel brings out all of his friends. All of his friends that were basically in the shadows. Basically, Ezekiel brought several crates of them, and Ezekiel told all of them to go near the area of, of the forest. As all of them are basically all around William Afton, as Ezekiel says this, "It's time to meet your maker. Asshole, you killed me, and it's time for your judgment. It's time for you to die, once and for all." As Ezekiel starts charging towards him, as these little friends of his start slicing apart, William Afton. Because Ezekiel doesn't have a quirk, it's pretty much effective on him. As he starts getting crushed and sliced by these, friends of his. William Afton started crushing them, but he couldn't absorb them, while the rest started slicing onto his feet, destroying one of his, legs. As he starts crawling around, almost like an animal, like an actual rabbit, jumping around, as he started shooting out blobs of something. They look like slime, but the slime is completely corrosive. The slime destroys one of his, a group of, of Ezekiel's friends, yeah. It destroys one of the group of friends that Ezekiel made, as Ezekiel starts charging towards him and starts slicing on the face of the, creature. After Ezekiel slices it enough, almost like a video game boss, or like the final boss in a video game, Ezekiel destroys it, revealing the actual body of William Afton. William Afton's actual body is a large flat screen TV with several different types of animatronic parts onto them. as limbs. One of them resembles Bonnie's arm, the other one looks like Chica's leg, the other one seems to be the hook of, like, Foxy. The other one seems to be a random arm from maybe like a certain puppet animatronic. But many others look absolutely random, to the point that it makes him look like a spider. So, he starts running away as Izuku just destroys the actual TV that houses his consciousness. As William Afton, before he dies, he says this: "Remember this, kid. I will come back. I always come back." As the TV, or the TV housing his consciousness, started glitching, and glitching as the TV explodes. Ezekiel won, finally getting his revenge. But Ezekiel falls down to the ground, and Ezekiel's actual robotic body just falls apart, while his ghost-like form, or spiritual form, gets out of there. The actual body, the actual living body of Ezekiel, well, it disappears. This part, this one, this one, the actual, like, dead body, finally, disappearing and decomposing. As Ezekiel just says this: "It's over. It's finally over." Ezekiel kind of laughs, but Ezekiel feels his body changing. Ezekiel becomes his actual age, 15. As Ezekiel just says this: "Whoa, it feels weird being turned into this body." As everybody said this: "Whoa, Ezekiel, I think you might have gotten your, wait for a second. I'm guessing you got, hit, with puberty like a freight train." As Ezekiel just says, I mean, yeah, Ezekiel checks out his body, as he seems to be pretty muscular. As most of the girls in class 1A and B start, blushing seeing him change into this. And his clothes are now, obsolete. Like these clothes. Because they couldn't fit on him. As the teachers decide to bring him some brand new clothes, which are some, hand-me-downs from Aizawa. So, this is basically the end of the series. And so, before you leave, let's talk about the epilogue. And so, let's begin. So, the epilogue is now this: Ezekiel became the number 2 hero, in fact. Because Ezekiel doesn't want to become the number 1 hero, because, he's not really interested. Instead of his hero costume being this, instead it resembles the Grim Reaper, but except sorry about that, wait for a second. But except it has like a white colored robe. As instead of Ezekiel wielding an axe, Ezekiel wields a little sword. This sword, it kind of resembles an axe, I guess. It kind of looks like Age of not Age of Extinction, like Megatron. I meant last night's Megatron, which I don't like the design all that much, but his sword, not gonna lie, it looks pretty cool. So, he has a sword similar to that, and Ezekiel is now married to, well, wait for a second, to Reiko. Ezekiel gets 2 children, which, by the way, if you're asking, how does a ghost get children? Just don't mind it. Anyway, so Ezekiel gets 2 children. One of them has a similar ability to Ezekiel, which is basically like a ghost quirk. The fully ghost quirk. And the other one seems to be a boy that also has a similar like quirk to, Reiko. Because of this, Ezekiel is now considered as a great hero, even though he's not the number 1 hero. So, this is the end of this series. So, I hope you like, comment, subscribe, and like so you can support my channel, and I hope to see you guys next time. Bye-bye!